out. If it works, good. If it doesn't, then I'll do it from the inside. But I wanted to be inside because it's beautiful. It's like 72 degrees. That is amazing weather for here for now. This is April and it's beautiful here in the Pacific Northwest. Y'all see the sun is shining today. So I, for one, try to take advantage of it. So the thing I wanted to talk about today is shifting my identity. And I want to share how I shifted mine and how I'm shifting mine, because that is the process that I'm in at this time. I had long years ago decided that I always wanted to have my own business. I've always been that person. I wanted to actually be a writer when I was growing up. So like when I got ready to graduate from high school, at one time I wanted to be a doctor, and my mom and dad were kind of pushing me in that direction, but I really wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a writer. And so they discouraged me because they said, that's starving artists, and you like to eat and things like that. And so that discouraged me from that. Now fast forward 40 years, I have written so far 3 books and lots of articles, and so I'm actually realizing that part of my dream. The backstory is I have been in the medical field for 33 years and actually a nurse for 30 years. And so for me, I'm over it. I'm done. It's toxic and I can't hardly stand it. And yeah. So I started getting sick, y'all. So I was in burnout for probably 10 plus, had no idea. So I was watching these amazing young ladies talking about Black women and toxic jobs and the burnout that comes with it and all that. And so I thought, wow, that is quite interesting. And I actually realized probably a couple of years ago that I was living in burnout for 10 plus years. And what happened for me is I started really hating my work. I mean, really, probably the first 10 to 12 years, I loved it and I enjoyed it. And then it got to the point, and one of the reasons why I feel like it got to this point is because I worked so much. I think if I had just been able to work like one job, or even part-time, or even just the 312s like we worked back east, because on the East Coast, they like 12-hour shifts. On the West Coast, not so much. And so, but I would work my 312s. So if I could just do my 312s, I think I probably would have been okay, but I did not. I worked like a runaway slave, I used to say, or like a mule, 2 and 3 and 4 jobs for decades. And so I got burned out. I just got so tired of doing that work. I didn't even want to be in any of those facilities. It doesn't matter what type, because I've done everything. I mean, I've done home health, I've done hospice, I've done worked in the office, I've worked in clinics, I've worked for Indian Health, I've worked, I did a federal contract, you name it, I have done it. Corrections, I worked prison, I worked mental health, I worked rehab, all kinds of things. And so, anyway, so it's not that. So I have like switched. When I started feeling the burnout, I would switch. How you doing? I would switch and I would start doing different things. Like I would go and, switch jobs, and I typically, it's about a 2-year girl. So I stayed a job for about 2 years. I start getting tired, bored. People start getting on my nerves. The people, I have to go. And so I do. I have. And so now I'm at the place now where it's time for me to release it. It's time for me to let it go. The Spirit has already spoken to me and told me, but what they did was they helped me. They brought some conditions and stuff. So I have some things going on in my body that I'm resolving, but I know that a part of it is because I have been in this burnout state for so long, and my body, jumped into fight or flight, and that's where it stayed right in fight or flight. And so now I'm like, nope, I have to move forward. And so as I get the guidance, I'm making the move. So the first guidance that I got was to go on call at my job, and I did, because for me, I felt like you know, because I was working on my money mindset and all that stuff. And I always have a thing where I want to be free and I want to feel abundant. And so I have stepped into embodying the frequency of abundance. And what that has done for me is it really has begun to open me up to all things abundant, and also to be able to see and to recognize and to have gratitude for all the things in my life, all the abundant things, because there's so many things, you know, so many ways that we are abundant. And so when I think about that, it's like, you know, when you start understanding and knowing that, regardless, because I had to sit down and actually tell myself, you know, you've never really been homeless. I mean, you've stayed in other people's houses, but you always had a place to put a roof over your head, you know, so that was never a thing. So it was not all that. So to me, what I started doing really is diving into my root chakra and really, really giving it the support that it needs. You know, self-care is really big for that. Giving it the support that it needs and telling myself that, you know, everything is always working out for me. Telling myself that money comes to me from the north, south, east, and the west, and that I love it, and that's why it shows up in my life. And I have respect for it, and I expect it to show up and to be there. And so that is what has begun to happen in my life. And it started happening on a small scale, and so I'm just expecting, because I live in the state of expectation. And so when you start to shift your identity and you start to really step into these spaces where you are moving into the person that you see yourself as, you know, like for me, I don't see myself as a nurse no more. And I hardly ever tell anybody that I did that, because that's not the identity that I want to be known for. You know, that's not the thing that I'm putting out there into the world. You know, that is the thing that I'm putting to bed, that I'm releasing, that I am allowing to die. And so that is a space that I know so many people are in because they watch my videos. And so I know they're there. But that's a space where, you know, when you decide to release something, and that's just not, that's not only, you know, to do with like money and, you know, and work and stuff and career and stuff like that. That also can work for like weight, you know, and health, you know, because for me, I started also embodying a person who is not only beautiful inside but outside, you know, a person who is at the ideal weight for my body. And that has nothing to do with the scale or, you know, you're 5 feet tall and so you got to weigh 102 pounds. Not that. I'm talking about how it feels for me, what feels good for me. And that is where I'm at. Like, I used to put up on my mirror how many pounds I want to lose by a certain date and all that stuff. Well, I released that as well, because I decided that I want to be healthy. I'm going to work out to the level that I can, that works for my body, that you know, and I'm going to push it, of course, but I'm going to work out to a level that feels good to me and that works for my body. And I'm going to eat things that feel good to me and that I like and that work for my body. You understand? So I've gotten to that space where, you know, I'm making the shift not only just in finances and money and abundance, but in abundance in every area, in abundance of health, in abundance of wealth, in abundance of prosperity, you know, in abundance of everything. You know, knowing that regardless, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody else says. I know that I am abundant. And I know that everything that I desire is here for me. I know that anything that I want, I can have. And I know that if somebody else did it, then that means I can also do it. And that's the part. And so when you get into that space where you are shifting in that identity, where you're like, oh my God, you know, this is the person that I desire to be, you know, and you start looking at it. Because what I started doing was studying. I started studying, you know, people that I admired, you know, because my thing is, I am never jealous. That's not anything that I am. I've never even had that type of bone in my body. However, I do look at people and say, if they can get it, I can get it. because the one supreme God is allowing me to have it. They can get it, I can have it. They can have it, I can have it. And so this is one of the things that, you know, I just kind of said, okay, this is where we're going to go. This is what we're going to do. You know, this is how this is going to be, and this is who I am. And so I'm putting that out there into the universe, and I'm putting it out into the world. And I'm also telling myself on a daily basis, using those affirmations. People talk about those and then they try to discount them, but affirmations are really good because they allow you to tell you who you are. You know, and you can do them in all kinds of different ways. I had a friend that said that you can say, you know, like instead of saying I am beautiful or I am gifted or I am, you know, whatever, you can say you are. You are beautiful. You are intelligent. You know, I love you. I love everything about you is what I tell myself. I love everything about you. I love all the things that maybe other people might not think that you should love. You know, because it's all a part of me. And so when you start to really shift in that way and you start to embody, like I have just decided, I said, this is something that I will not do anymore after this year. This is the last year that I'm doing this. You know, this is the last year. You know, and what changed for me is that now I have begun to see, and it doesn't matter, like, you know, I'm looking at this thing, it's like, doesn't matter about the followers or anything. It doesn't matter if anybody's watching me or whatever. I'm still doing what I'm called to do. I am called to be a blessing to this world. You know, I'm called to be a healer to this generation. I am called to do those things. And so I'm doing them by sharing being transparent and vulnerable and sharing my story, you know, to help you, to let you know that, you know, I'm a human being having a spiritual being having a human experience as well. So I'm here with you. You know, I'm not any better or any less than anybody else, but I'm here. And I'm sharing this because I know that people need to hear it. And so I'm called to do that. And I'm called to be a spiritual teacher. I'm called to teach people how to live with peace. I'm called to help people find their peace. Those are some of the things that I am called to do. And so now it is time for me to step into doing them. Like I've known that I've been called to this work for decades. I've been a psychic and also a medium for decades. I've known this for decades. Now, I stayed in the closet for decades and years because, you know, I was deep in religion and they said that was of the devil. And so I had to, you know, pull back from that. But I have decided that no, because that is who I am and that is what I am supposed to do. I'm supposed to help people to find their peace, whether it is to help them, to guide them and give them insights, to help them to see into their life, to help them to connect with their departed loved ones, you know, whatever. And also to help them to heal. Because I believe, and this is something that I had to get to this space so I could realize, but I believe that everything can be healed, you know, but I had to get to that space. Although I grew up with faith healing, I did. My grandmother was an amazing faith healer and she had her own ministry. And so I grew up with that. And so I grew up like that. And I know that everything can be healed. However, but I'm at this space now where I believe that God is always within us and in control. And anything can be healed, you know? And so I don't listen to anybody that says that something is incurable because I don't care about that. It's just a word and it don't mean nothing, you know? Everything can be healed and anything can be healed. So that's all I got for y'all tonight. I just want to thank y'all and I want to invite y'all. If you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so that when I pop on with new videos or when I upload new videos, I've got some more podcast videos that are coming up soon. I'm so excited about that. But make sure that you are following that and make sure that you're following me on TikTok at Intuitive Tammi. Because I also go live there as well, doing readings and healings. So all of that I'm doing on TikTok as well at Intuitive Tammi. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for joining. And make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. If you have some people that you know that need to hear this good word, make sure that you share that with them and let them know that I'm here. And if you are interested in working with me on any level, because I have a few different ways to work with me. I have a membership that I'm creating, the Conscious Healing Hub. I also have a group on Facebook. If that's something that you like, I have a group on Facebook, and it's called Awakening Your Intuition. Matter of fact, that group is actually getting ready to morph into a place where I'm doing a lot more teaching, because that's really what I enjoy. I love spiritual teaching. So again, thank you for hanging out. If you live in the Western Washington area, you can contact me. I actually do in-person healing here, because I have a space that I can use. So if that's something that you're looking for, reach out. And also, if you are interested in writing in my multi-author book, Passing the Pearls, it is stories about our grandmothers. I made it super, super reasonable. So come and join us and share a story about your grandmother. Especially if you're a new writer. If this is the first time that you are considering doing writing, it's easier to just do a chapter than it is to do a whole book at first. I can attest to that, because that's how I started. I did a chapter in Unchain Me Mama, which was stories about our mothers. And then I wrote my book. So it was a whole lot easier to write 2,500 words. Matter of fact, for me, I can do that in probably an hour. But anyhow, thank you for joining. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. I will see you guys on tomorrow with day 16 of 30 days of live on YouTube. I will also be live on TikTok if you're over there later on tonight. Matter of fact, I usually go live a little later over there, because for some reason it seems to work out better when I do it later. So I'm going to go live over there as well. So thank you for hanging out with me. And like I said, if you want to join my group on Facebook, Awakening Your Intuition, where it's getting, like I said, I'm getting ready to make some changes, because I want, because my goal is freedom and fun. So if I don't feel free and it's not fun, then it's not for me. So again, thank you for joining me. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye now.